What is going on, YouTube? Julian back with another video. And if you're anything like me, you've been really tired of paying rent and you're looking to pay for something that you can call your own, and or you have a growing family and you need to upsize your property. Well, you've definitely come to the right place. Today we're going to talk about the upfront cost of purchasing a home. We have 5 different topics to go over, and we're also going to break down some math. So if you do want to do that for your house that you're looking at in your market, then you'll have a really good idea of how much money you need to save. Let's get that started. All right, everybody, before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you can catch videos like this in the near future. If you're interested in moving to San Antonio, Texas, I have a couple videos up and you can look at the cost of living here, so then you can also utilize this for that, and you can kind of get an idea of what you're going to be paying to live here in San Antonio, Texas. And let's dive into that information right now and start some math. So in one of my previous videos, I was talking about the median house price range of a home here in San Antonio, Texas, and it was about $280,000. So we're gonna be going based off that. So eventually I'm gonna show you like a little breakdown of all the math, and that way you can get a really good idea and a visual as well versus just speaking it. But not only that, so the first payment, and the payment that everybody knows about, is going to be your down payment. So your down payment really comes from either your FHA loan, which is a first home owner, VA loan, so if you're a veteran and or active duty, and a conventional loan, which usually most of the time investors will do conventional loans, but it's entirely up to you in which route that you want to go in. If you're looking to rent out your property in the near future, then a conventional loan might be best for you. We can talk about that in another video. So we're going to go based off of FHA loan, and that's the usual loan that most people, especially like a first homeowner, is looking to get, or loan that they will get. And it's 3.5% down, so 3.5% down. So if you're looking at a $280,000 property, you need a 3.5% down minimum. And so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 3.5 times 280,000, and that's going to equal $9,800. And so that is already alone one of your upfront costs, which is pretty hefty. It's 3.5%, 280,000, but it's not as much as people think. Most people think that you need about 20 to 30 to 40 to 50,000 in order to get a home. And for a $280,000 property, I think 9,800 is really good. So I'm trying to shoot it to you straight, and I'm not trying to keep us here all day. So we're going to move on to topic number 2. Topic number 2 is your option and earnest money. And so basically what that is once you've gotten the home under contract, you need to give an option check, which protects the seller, and that also protects you. So what that is you have about, let's just say 10 days, so $10 for 10 days, so a $100 check, which is your option check, to basically pull out whenever you want if for any reason you decide not to get the property. And you also usually want to get an inspection during this time. But what's cool about that is you're able to get out during those 10 days. If for some reason you change your mind, maybe you get cold feet, but the seller is actually going to take that check. So the seller gets to keep the $100. Sometimes people like to do a higher option period or a higher option check to be a little bit more competitive. But that's usually $10 for 10 days, and it gives you about 10 days to protect yourself. And then another upfront cost is going to be your earnest money. And what your earnest money is it's 1% of the home. So if it's 1% of the home, that means $2,800. You're going to have to give $2,800 to the seller or the title company first to hold the check. And what that does is basically it takes your property off the market. So pretty much what that does is that just shows the seller that you're really serious and you really want the home. So the earnest check removes the property. But what's really cool about that is at the end of the entire transaction, you get the earnest money back. So instead of paying $9,800 for your down payment, you're going to be paying $7,000 because that $2,800 is going to be applied to that. So don't think you have to pay $2,800 on top of the $9,800. And now we want to move on to topic number 3. And topic number 3 is your inspection. And I would highly recommend to get an inspection no matter how much you love the house, unless of course you have the connections to get something done if anything major is needed. But it's always really good to see, what is going on with the house, if there's anything that you might need to look at in the near future, even if you don't renegotiate for them to fix it. But this is a time where if there's anything wrong with the house, there's leaks, roof damage, just anything like that, you can renegotiate with the seller and see if you can get that covered before closing the property. So I would always highly recommend an inspection. And with an inspection, you can expect it to be around $350 to $400. And unfortunately, the buyer always has to pay that out. And number 4 is going to be the appraisal. And basically what that means is the loan officer is going to hire an appraiser to come to the property to make sure that it is a value of what you're offering. Let's give an example here. If the house is $300,000 and you offer $300,000, but the house appraises at $280,000, that means that the seller was over value of $20,000. And what's going to happen is, because you gave them $300,000, which is why I recommend a realtor, because they'll tell you if it's overpriced or not, they will basically tell you that you have to pay $20,000 upfront on top of everything else that we're going to go over right now. And that also, to a certain extent, protects you, because that also means you're not going to overpay for a home. But it's super risky, because usually during this time, especially with the way that everything's been in the market, sometimes you lose your protection period of your earnest money, and that's $2,800. So just make sure you speak with your realtor about that, and make sure you're making a really good offer that you know is not going to have to end up making you pay more upfront cost or out-of-pocket money. And so number 5 is going to be your closing cost. And with closing cost, I can't necessarily give you an exact number because it varies with purchases, but it's usually around 3%. So you can kind of just do 3% times 280,000. So you would be paying for like a $280,000 home around $8,400 in closing cost. Now you're like, whoa, what is going on? Like, everything is adding up fairly quick. But still, like I said, most people think that you need about like 30 to 40,000 down in order to purchase a home. And we're gonna go over the math right now so you can see that you're nowhere near 30 or 40,000. But if you do want to save on closing costs, then you can always go with a new build property, because most new build properties, their loan officers are going to help you pay your closing costs. But I would definitely speak to a realtor about that, because not every new build community offers that. And we usually have the connections to help find you somebody who can get you that assistance. And if you made it this far in the video, I really want to thank you. I try to shoot it straight to you, so that way we're not here for like 10 hours. And so just make sure you hit that like button if this was informative to you. And not only that, but definitely stay tuned for some awesome tours of unique properties here in San Antonio, Texas. I am in the Zamora-Ordona group with Keller Williams City View here in San Antonio, Texas. And if you're thinking about moving here, do not hesitate to reach out. I do help people like you every day move to San Antonio and make it smooth and clean as possible. And catch you in the next video.